was no more laughter in the place. Children no longer run around the streets playing and fighting with their friends. There were no more wrestling competition among the youths. Young girls could no longer found under the udala tree in the town square, plaiting each other's hair, or playing the game of sway, or just gossiping. The whole place was quiet and dead. The women went quickly and silently to the streams to fetch water, or the forest to collect firewood. The men did not go in twos and threes to their farms anymore. They went one by one and alone. This situation arose because of the new queen. She had earlier complained to the king that the people of Ejiofor were too noisy and were always laughing. "Why can't they be more serious?" she asked the king. The king became angry. He felt that his people had disgraced him before the queen. He therefore passed a decree forbidding his people from laughing and playing like they used to do. If the people of Ejiofor thought that things were bad for them, they had not seen the worst until one morning. All through the night, they had heard a very strange noise. It sounded as if someone is fanning himself with big giant Azuzu fan. The children were all frightened. The mothers, though some strange spirits had chosen their town for a convention, the men, trying to be bold, told them it was probably a new fan their king had brought home from the faraway land he visited. They do not have too long to find out. The noise they had all tried to interpret in their different ways was the flapping of the wings of a big giant bird. It had arrived in their town during the night. The first man who saw this bird was so frightened that he ran straight back into his hut and never talked again. He shivered so much his wife made him lie down. She heaved boxes on top of him to stop him from shivering. The next person was the king himself. He was looking out of his window when he saw something very big swoop down into his compound. The next thing he saw is his favorite horse carried into the air and disappear. He sat very still for a long time, thinking of what had just happened. He was not sure what he had seen and was afraid if he told anyone about it, they would think he had gone mad. He knew very well that his people were not happy with him, but before he could decide what to do, he saw a big cow fly into the air again. It disappeared the way the horse had done. That was too much for the king. "Let the stupid people think I am mad," he said to himself. "I am going to find out what is happening." What he saw when he got into the compound made his heart miss several beats. Balanced on the biggest and highest tree was the biggest and ugliest bird he had never seen. Its eyes were as large as calabashes. Its claws were the length of the Okakpa broom. Its wings were as wide as a rooftop. The king saw that this ugly thing had completely devoured his favorite horse and had started to eat the cow. He was so frightened that he rushed straight back into the palace and summoned his guards. He ordered them to go out and shoot the ugly bird that has eaten his favorite horse. He thought that few arrows would settle the matter, and Igono would cease to trouble them. 4 guards took their position. The first one took aim and shot at the bird. This disturbed it from the cow it was eating up. With loud, angry squawk, it turned its attention to the guards. When it realized what was happening, it simply swooped down. It swallowed him, bow, arrow, and all. The other guards threw away their own bows and arrows and tried to escape, but the bird just picked them up one by one until it swallowed up the remaining 3. The amazed king could not believe what he had just seen. If this wicked bird could do this to his best guards, what then could happen to his poor, defenseless citizens? It was then that he knew he was in real trouble. Meanwhile, the Igono continued to spread its terror throughout the length and breadth of Ejiofor. It ate up all the yam, cassava, and maize. It drank up all the water the nearby streams and destroyed everything in Oeliophia. The king consulted all the Daibias in Oeliophia, but not one of them could divine a solution. They told him that his case was beyond their power. He sent his messengers to the neighboring towns of Oeli Uzo, Oeli Ono, and Oeli Emmikpitim. Still, those powerful Daibias could not solve the Igano problem. Suddenly, the king remembered that long ago, he had met a powerful Daibia from far away Yayaji land. They had become great friends. When the man, whose name he could not recall, was returning to his hometown Reiki, he told the king to call on him anytime he was in trouble. The king immediately sent off a messenger to him. This messenger rode for 7 days and 7 nights. He crossed 7 seas, climbed 7 hills, and passed through 7 forests to get to this Daibia. When he came out of the last forest, he met a man standing there as if waiting for someone. Before he could even ask any questions, the man told the messenger who he was. He ordered the king's messenger to turn back and return to Oeliophia. He should tell the king to arrange the shooting competition. A young man would appear who will kill the Igano bird. He also told the messenger to tell the king to share the kingdom into 2 halves. He should give one to the young man and also ask him to move to the palace to live. He handed a bag to the messenger and told him inside was enough food and water to last him through his returning journey. The messenger took off at great speed. He traveled for 7 days and 7 nights before he got back to Oeliophia.